Hello again, it's Marxist, and we're going to be going over another demo from Maidos, the demo man. I am going to present this in a different way to keep the file size down and the overall thing a little bit shorter, maybe, so it's a little bit easier to digest for everybody. And it'll mean I'll be able to put out higher quality videos in the future. So basically what happened here at this mid, and this is an overall theme for your granary play, is that your rollouts are just a little too slow, and it's more or less handcuffing you at mid. Also, a lot of the time on these mids, your med's not getting to you right away, and so you're basically, not only are you handcuffed due to the fact that you're slow, but you're handcuffed because you're not being healed at all, and you're kind of isolated, and if the team you were playing against had a little bit better comms, you would be dead essentially every mid right at the start. So here's another point to talk about here, is that when you push in, you guys know that you have advantage here, and there needs to be more people on the side that you're pushing through with the Uber. The reason being for that is that the Uber is going to push them away, because nobody wants to fight an invincible guy. So there's no reason to cause your scouts or whoever that went out the other side to have a not invincible persons only fight. On granary last pushes, if we have Uber advantage, I typically just tell the whole team to go out one door. Maybe have one guy delay an upper for a little bit. And then go die on the point. Okay, so here's another example where your team... This is... you end up being okay from this. But essentially what happened was that you were too close to your combo when they were ready to get into the enemy team, and it was Uber v Uber. So you need to play a little more passively in relations to your combo when there's the potential for an Uber v Uber fight to come out, because you're gonna either A, force your med to flash, or B, get caught somehow and die, which is what happened there. So now this is another situation that you know is going to end up being Uber's. And that what I would have liked to have seen there is for the Uber to just, this sounds different than everything else that I've said, but granary second is the exception. Just give you the Uber, have them get pushed back, they get popped, you back up. Life is good, instead of bringing both you and the pocket into that. Typically it's better to just go with your pocket, but that particular area in granary second really lends itself well to the demo man. So watch another mid fight here. And basically what happens is that first jump of yours is way too high. You need to get through that without taking fall damage. And also through these jumps without taking fall damage, which you do the last jump that time properly. But he's still there basically as fast, if not faster than you. And you should be getting healed. Like, this is the other story. Besides being slow to mid, your medic is not healing you, and that cannot be the case. Unless you've got some kind of special strat, you should be getting all the heals. Well, not all the heals, but you should be priority number one as soon as you get to mid to heal your demo up, because you're going to be hurt. You also need 260 before you jump out of that door for your first jump, which is something that didn't happen that time and led you having like 35 health at one point. So this is another endemic portion for your team, I think, in that there doesn't seem to be very good awareness of what's going on. So like, they shouldn't have been able to get in there and kill so many people. I don't know why you were able to escape to mid and no one else was, and if they were fighting in there, it behooved you to help instead of staying back there. And now the cavalry sort of arrives when they ought to have, as far as I know, been able to push on you due to you being the only person in yard. So work on comms and sort of knowing what other people are doing, because they shouldn't have been able to get in there like that into your last, and they ought to have been able to push out a lot sooner, and you shouldn't have sat back. if there were still so many people in. Okay, so we'll watch another mid, because these are really, as far as the demo goes, some of your Ubers are kind of ugly, and these rollouts are pretty ugly. So there, that's a perfect jump. You need to do that every time. And that one was good too. So this is a fine rollout, and you're there much quicker than he is. You also know he's coming garage, so you spam that. So that's good. You did the rollout fine. You're having a mid. Your medic gets to you. Things are as they should be. You also pushed up aggressively when it was needed. So you basically did what you were supposed to that time, which shows that you can. So this is another situation where you or your pocket ought to have been aware that they had Uber, and that whole situation there could have been avoided simply by popping you into them. You would now have the point, yada yada. It still turns out okay, but it's an example again of your team not really truly being aware of what the advantage situation is and how to deal with it. Only one person, when you know the other team's got Uber and they're in second, which they were, you can't have two people go up onto the point like that. It has to be you or the pocket. In Marxist world, preferably you, who will go in there, you spam them, you trade Ubers, you back up, and then you repush. Now here, if your pocket notes that the door above is trapped, you should just switch sides. Don't waste time with the shotgun hanging out there, because it's likely that you may run into a sniper, and that's not really somebody that you want to play games with there. So just, you had your full advantage. You should have had a bunch of people coming out of that door. You have a scout run out first. He checks the door. If there are stickies there, most demos won't dead over a scout. And if there are sticks, you just switch doors and push out that side and have a nice life. See, that entire mid was due entirely because you stopped to get the health pack and he did not. And as such, he was able to stick you right away. He had a 33% chance of guessing right. And then you just didn't handle that very well. As soon as you took that sticky, you needed to just step back and start begging for heals instead of trying to, it's just a symptom of not knowing what to do. If that ever happens to you again, just step backwards and be like, I'm screwed. And tell your medic to help you as soon as possible. Now this part you actually play well. You gotta stay back. So you do a good job of staying uninvolved from the Uber there. I would like to see you do that more. You got a little too aggressive though at the end, but I mean, you did the right thing at first, and then just got a little too excited. That last push there went... I don't know what you guys were trying to do. You should have known that they had Uber, and so maybe you were just trying to recycle the Uber, but if you're going to do that, you can't bring 2 people into it, or 3 people eventually with a scout. It's got to be just one. And the soldier wasn't going to work because of the heavy. Ideally, you would just run a suicide there. So you'd have a scout and a soldier suicide. The scout runs at the medic and the soldier jumps around to distract everyone. So that basically the soldier says, I'm going, the scout comes out, runs at the medic. Sometimes teams will freak out and you'll get a med pick or a pop. The objective is to pop. And then you bring back a sniper, you bring up a heavy and a sniper, whatever you feel like. It's much safer than what you guys did there, because what happened was, I assume you went in to recycle the Uber, and then it didn't happen quite fastly enough or something, and then a scout came in and got involved, and your medic let you die. That's not preferable to suiciding in 2 guys. and bringing up heavy off classes or sniper or spy. This is another example of, I think your team just doesn't know what it's trying to do, because you've got people like out of the left door and you're clear in the back not helping, and you need to be helping if they're going to be out there. Or they need to be out. So develop a team philosophy. This is something I say. You want to develop a philosophy whereby we're either all in or we're all out. You can't try and play it in between with like you playing passively and some people being sort of in trying it out. You can't do that. You're either going to go in and attack or you're not. That last push there is an example of your team being either A, convinced that they don't have Uber and you push too late, or B, you just didn't do anything to get on them to make them pop, in which case you need to use your Uber more aggressively. So somebody needs to go and make them pop, take in one guy, make them pop, or kill people to get a pop out, get a couple picks, and they'll feel obligated to Uber on you. And because you guys got good spread, you were all over the right side, things were going great, but they just ran the opposite way and then popped late on you, and now they've got mid. And you just can't do that. You need to get the Uber out of them, or kill a bunch of people and make them get it out, instead of just being content to control the right side. So watch another mid, because that seems to be where most of your problems are. Too high. Oof, and you lucked out. You'd have had 10, maybe 10 health if you'd have just been a few centimeters higher. So your medic's on you, you get jumped. That's okay. As long as your team stays kind of grouped up. Nope. Well, not for you anyways. You may still have this in the bag as far as your team goes. Nope, too spread out. Now this here is an example of your team pushing when you know you've got advantage, and you playing really aggressively and it working out. The only flaw in this whole shebang here is when you guys are capping second, you all didn't need to stack the point. The demo, so you, the soldiers, and a scout all should have gone. Oh, and a medic too. Just leave one guy to cap that point, everybody else go. You're a little too slow, but other than that, this whole bit is perfectly executed. Now, because you seem to be struggling with rollouts, and that was really the main issue of this demo, I've just included some old Platinum and Banny rollouts. So maybe you can get ideas on alternate sticky placements, or maybe different things that you can do as demo to kind of clean your rollouts up a bit. This is an old LAN demo, so it's not like a demonstration video of theirs straight up or anything. So there are mistakes here. Nobody's absolutely perfect all the time. But, it could give you a couple ideas on different things that you could try to do to speed yourself up here and there, or make certain jumps a little easier. So, I hope you enjoyed, and that you learned a bit, maybe. And also, I hope you like the new format. Instead of showing the whole demo, just sort of doing a teachable moments sort of thing, which will, keep video sizes down. They'll be a little more watchable, and I'll be able to render them in nicer quality in the future. So, till next time, and feel free to submit more.